to stop doing that. Get off his arm. That's bad.
Get off! Get off!
Get off him, man. You don't need to put all your weight on him like that.
Get off me!
See what's he doing with his hands? He's a child. He's not going to get you there. Healthy there.
Get off me! Fucking prick!
You haven't even shoplifted anything. You haven't even shoplifted anything. Look what he told me. He told me what to do.
You're big and you're a bully.
He told me what they done.
Look at the size of the little boy. You're a bully. A bully. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for 2 little boys. Oh, you're proud of you.
Him like that, he's a kid.
Fucking bullies, mate.
West Midlands Police for ya.
Look how fucking tiny he is.
Is it recording? Look at these fucking idiots trying to terrorise a little kid. Oh, do you know what I mean? I'm gonna go check. Look at that, mate. Look how fucking freemates and terrorising him.
telling you he's got phobia. You hear what he just said?
All this way here, you guys are bullying from his bottom.
Bullying a little child, mate.
Just give us some space.
You lot give him some space.
You're gonna get slammed.
Are you hurting him, man?
Terrorising a little baby in school, that's wrong, that.
Why are you got fucking handcuffs on a kid? That's fucking stupid!
Ah, you dirty piggy!
Early in the morning, What's going on, people? It's your boy Cam, Topical Juice, and I'm back with the third video of the day, coming like one trilogy. And yeah, this one, again, I don't really want to talk too much on this one. The video says it all. I want to leave my points kind of brief, because I kind of mentioned similar points in my last video. Without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified, man. Help your boy achieve his goal. I'm trying to get to a road to 50,000. 100,000 will be amazing by the end of the year, man. I really would love to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. Got a second half of the year to get it. We can hit it. I want a big year. I'd really appreciate if you help me get me there. Thank you. So anyway, as you saw at the start of that video, yeah, a young boy of 13 years old, I think he's about 12, 13 years old, he was getting really quite aggressively manhandled by police officers. Now, when you look at a video like that, it's very quick to make it all about race. And me being from the black community and me having dealt with racism since, well, for the last 16 years of my life, that was the first time I was aware of my skin color when I was 10 years old, and a little white girl called me a wog. Having dealt with racism for so many years, it's very likely that this has something to do with the color of his skin. However, the reason why it's important to be open to both sides is because we don't know what happened before the video footage. However, the point I want to make in this video is that it doesn't matter what the youth did, yeah? Okay, within reason. He didn't have a knife, he didn't have a gun. You'll find out what he did in a minute. The police actually haven't released a statement, but this ain't no... The way they were handling him was like he was the terrorist, do you understand? Now, the point is, yeah, excessive force. Excessive force. We, as a black community, we deal with excessive force very, very frequently. This is what comes under the umbrella of systemic racism. This is what comes under the banner of white privilege. This is what it means by racism. Again, I want to make the point, it's not always calling someone the N-word. In fact, that's an extreme form of racism. You won't even hear that as much anymore. Well, you will, but that's more unlikely. The thing is with racism, the reason why racists don't get it is because they're not actually smart enough to understand. Racism is a very intellectual, layered, and deep topic, basically. And that's why when I look at racists and right-wing people, and they're actually uneducated. They don't have the intellectual capacity to break down and analyze what racism is. Not just racism, they don't have the capacity to break down and comprehend anything. So sexism, how there's layers to women's oppression and things like that. Palestine or something, how there's layers, you understand? How there's history with Israel and Palestine and the surrounding Arab countries. To understand the way the world works, you actually have to be smart. You do, facts. So when it comes to this racism thing, yeah, a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people simplify it. A lot of people think it's just calling someone the N-word. BLM categorically is not a political movement, right? Black Lives Matter is literally a reaction to the oppression black people suffer. The point is here, excessive force. Excessive force. In what realm do you need nine police officers on what appeared to be one child? There was 2 children in the end, but the only child that got video was one. One. So let's actually read, yeah? Let's read the police report. So as you can see on your screens, the West Midlands Police quoted, "We are aware of footage circulating on social media of an incident in the Manda Centre of Wolverhampton yesterday. We were alerted by the retail radio at the centre when 2 teenagers were causing a disturbance around 3 p.m. after being reported missing from school. The boys were being abusive to shoppers and causing disorder. A PCSO attended, but the level of behaviour by the boys was such that a plainclothes officer intervened and attempted to detain them. Additional officers were called for support, and it was necessary to restrain a 13-year-old boy for his own safety and that of officers. Officers were also required to manage hostile members of the public, while the boy and another 13-year-old boy were arrested for breach of peace, during which one officer was punched several times. They were later de-arrested at the police station and handed over to the appropriate adults." Interesting. One of the boys will be dealt with at a later date for assaulting a police officer and damaging office equipment at the station. Chief Inspector Hassan Shigdar from Wolverhampton Central Police Station said, "We understand that incidents like these are very emotive when viewed on social media, but please remember that a snapshot does not tell the whole story of the officers faced. We are collating body-worn images. We are collating body-worn footage, and our professional standards department will make a full assessment. But initial investigation shows that the officers acted appropriately within Home Office guidelines." What I mean by excessive force is 9 police officers on 2 13-year-old boys, and one of them is digging their knee into, on top of the guy, on top of the little boy. Now, he's not digging the knee into the back of their neck. He is putting his full body and extending the arm of a 13-year-old boy. His arm looks like he's about to break. Now, I'm gonna keep it trilly with you. Ignorant people probably expect me to say, "Oh, this is completely outrageous, and this is the worst thing since blah blah blah." Listen, me analysing that boy's behaviour and how he was acting when he was getting arrested, yeah, it would not surprise me if he was causing a grief. He was causing a bit of issues beforehand. I am not sitting here telling you that this little boy is innocent. I'm not. But that's the point here. This is the nuances of racism. This is the nuances of like systemic racism. Is that, for instance, a lot of people, they like to justify the actions of, say, law enforcement because the person did something wrong. George Floyd, yeah, he shouldn't have died like a flipping animal. He shouldn't have died like a pig and a cattle for slaughter with his knee on someone else's neck and all that. He shouldn't have died like that. But he was a criminal though. Do you see how damaging someone's character makes it easier to justify what happens to them? Now again, I'm not saying that the kid did anything right. By the looks of his behaviour, he probably was being a bit antisocial beforehand. But does that, ask yourself truly, as in really ask yourself and mean it in your head. Really mean it in your head. Does that justify 9 officers on top of him or whatever, or 2 or 3 on top of him, putting their weight on him, extending their arm? You know when a boy is that age-ish, yeah, around that age, around the junior level, when you give a junior aged person CPR, you use one hand. Facts. When it's an infant, 2 fingers. When it's a junior level, 1 hand. An adult, 2. Having that knowledge in your head, yeah, that's a fact by the way, so having that fact in your head, do you think it's wise to put 3 officers, 2 officers, even 1 officer, their full weight near enough on a junior? These are the type of things you have to have in your mind when you're dealing with these racial issues. Excessive force is what gets people in trouble. Excessive force is what kills young black people on the street, older black people on the street. Because a lot of white people, especially within the force, they have this grossly over-exaggerated perspective of black people, that black people just have superhuman strength and this, that, and we need 20 man, we need 20 people on one black man because they're too strong and aggressive. And then I've never seen someone treat a little white boy like that. Again, I don't care if he did something wrong. It doesn't justify the force. Look at the way they dragged the boy, dragging his feet across like he's a seasoned criminal, like he's a hardened criminal. I have seen white men with samurai swords swinging at police officers and they don't even want to pull their taser. This is the nuances of racism, you lot. It's the nuances. It is not just as simple as calling someone an N-word. You actually have to be intellectual to understand how layered these things go. So that's why I can't ever get mad at racists in my comments. You are literally beneath me. Like, I can't, it's amazing how the racist mind, like, they think that when I reply to them, they think I'm triggered. I'm too smart for you. I'm literally here, so how can someone like you trigger me when I already know you're insecure and beneath me? You don't even have the IQ to compete. Do you understand? Ultimately, I'm not condoning whatever this young boy or these young boys allegedly did beforehand. If they're causing a ruckus at the whatever, I get it. They deserve to be punished and detained. 1, 2, 3 officers would suffice. Not dragging them by his feet on the floor and 9. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't happen to little white kids. It doesn't. It just doesn't. You know, it doesn't. Actually, before I go, I remember when I was 13 years old, 13, 14 years old, 2 police officers stopped me for jaywalking. That's not even illegal in this country. Need I say more in it? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. Peace.